Welcome back. Let's take you straight to Polokwane now, where Cosatu has been leading the shutdown in the province. That's where we find my colleague Moloko Moloto to give us an update. Moloko, I see you've arrived at an area. It looks like people have dispersed. Just give me an update of what's happening there. Is everything complete now?
Hello, Masero. Well, what you are seeing here, these are just the few remaining members of SAFTU, the federation that is holding a parallel march. It started at the so-called SABC Park, which is about 4 or 5 kilometers from where we are now, and they proceeded to the office of the Premier, and following them was a march by Cosatu. So the one that is led by Cosatu President Zingizwalosi will be arriving here anytime from now. But a short while ago, the leaders of SAFTU, led by their second deputy president Musima Maredi, handed over a memorandum of grievances to Premier Stan Mathabatha. But before that, there was a little bit of a misunderstanding, because they wanted the Premier to personally come out to accept or receive the memorandum. He came out. They wanted him to get onto a van, and he said because of ill health he would not be able to do that. So we saw the Premier going back to his office, and these people had to wait here for some time until he returned later, and they accepted that he would receive that memorandum of grievances without getting on top of a van. But let me get to introduce into this conversation the second deputy president of SAFTU and get to understand what key issues that you want to address as you submitted this MOU to the Premier are.
Thank you, eNCA. The key issues that we want the Premier to address is the electricity tariff, is the load shedding, is the petrol hike, is the issue of education, hiring of nurses, teachers, and all the public servants. Because remember, in the public servant there are a lot of shortage. People are going on pension, people are dying, but there is no replacement. And with the issue of water that is happening in the very same town that the Premier is residing, there is shortage of water. We want the Premier to address those issues. Yeah,
what commitment did you get from the Premier in terms of things that he would be able to do?
Premier didn't commit. He was only on the issue that we said to him he doesn't respect us as SAFTU. He didn't commit himself to say, I'm going to address your memorandum. He didn't commit to us.
Yeah, while on that, why did he have to go back, as far as you know, and return after a few minutes to accept your memorandum?
Thank you. We do respect the health of the Premier, but for him to go back while we are here and then he must receive the memorandum and he go back, we felt it's disrespectful of the Premier of Limpopo, who is Chupi Mathabatha. He should have stand here and we address the issue that he's having, the problem with the knees or whatever health problem he's having. But the issue of him going back while we are still here, it was very much of disrespectful of the Premier of Limpopo from us as SAFTU.
All right, Musima Maredi, the second deputy president of SAFTU. Well, the Premier, when he accepted the memorandum, Masero did point out that he really has no reason to disrespect anyone who would have brought a memorandum of grievances here, saying that it is because of ill health. But let me speak to Pitso Mpasha. He is the provincial chairman of the PAC. Pitso, you marched. Cosatu is marching, not only here, but across many parts of the country. Surely, tomorrow, it's not going to change. And what would you have achieved, really?
Well, thank you, eNCA, for giving us this opportunity. Yes, we must acknowledge today we marched, and those who planned a counter march, they are also doing the same. And furthermore, to show that this is a counter march, their Premier, that is in alliance with Cosatu, comes here, undermines SAFTU-led march, comes here, throw hands at us, show arrogancy, despite workers having came here peacefully. He nearly provoked workers. So he wanted us to be back and say, Premier Mathabatha, come here and receive memorandum. We refused to do that. And at worst, he comes and claims, so I was ill, and therefore there is no reason to disrespect you. But immediately after saying that.
But Pizzo, sorry, in fairness, the Premier came to accept your memorandum of grievances. He was here personally. The fact that he could not climb onto a van did not mean much because he was here. He even came back on his own volition. Surely that on its own is saying that he respects you, hence he came personally.
Well, you could have noticed one thing. After signing the memorandum, he left without receiving that memorandum. That surely indicates that that person does not respect us. Because if that person respects you, he will just leave with that memorandum showing you that he's going to respond to a memorandum. That in itself is show that the Premier is going to throw that memorandum in a dustbin. Because you can't leave when you are called here to accept the memorandum, you leave without it. Is that a respect?
Now what then from here? Tomorrow is a new day. There possibly will not be a match. Some people would say you've just wasted your time.
Well, one thing that we must applaud today is the victory we registered. Victory of the unity of various trade unions that were here, victory of the unity of various political parties that were here. So moving forward, we must consolidate on this unity. And of course, we will not achieve anything for as long as we still have this arrogant, this spoiled bread type of a Premier, because they are not going to respond to anything. That is why we are saying at the end, this government must be collapsed, because it is their policies that are causing high food prices, that are causing high electricity prices, that are causing lack of jobs.
Yeah, finally, why was it so difficult for you as unions or political parties affiliated to Cosatu to join forces with Cosatu, given the fact that you guys departed from the same venue on same issues, coming to the same destination? Why can't you at least show unity in the public eye? Why is it so difficult?
To be honest, we engaged them. Even today when we were there, we were even begging them to say, all these people came here to fight against high petrol, high food prices. We cannot be seen divided. But because the objective of the march was to counter this genuine march. Their grievances are not genuine. Their mission is to counter. That is why they were bussed throughout. They sabotaged our transport in the morning. So they've achieved that. Up until they leave that attitude of ensuring that everything is all about them and their ruling party, then we are going nowhere. But we are happy that others will refuse to be bought and we remain united.
All right, Pizzo Mphatsha, thank you so much. Well, Marcelo, there you have it. Clearly, the working class is not united. That is the reason why we have two parallel marches here. But of course, we are now waiting for the march that's led by Cosatu, President Singiswalozi, as well as the General Secretary of the SACP, Soli Mapaila, to arrive any time from now here at the Premier's office to hand over their memorandum.
All right, so the program does still continue. That was Moloko Moloto outside the Premier Stan Mathabata's offices in Polokwane. That is the Premier of Limpopo, of course.